welcome to another episode of The Angler's Addiction. And on today's review, we're going to be looking at the Zbl Monsoon Breaker. Now, the Monsoon Breaker doesn't need any introduction. If you're a tailor fisherman, you've heard of these. Now, these lures here are an absolutely magnificent lure that has caught so many people. They're absolute trophy tailor without doubt. The good thing I like about these lures is made in Japan. Now, it's getting very hard to find lures made in Japan. The price point on these lures though is a little bit higher. You're looking at around the $40 mark now, okay? So they're really getting up there for the, for a stick bait for throwing at tailor. Sorry if there's a bit of background noise, but down at one of my favorite local spots. Now, keep in mind, we've got a bit of water coming up. Keep in mind, this isn't just a tailor stick bait. This can be used for absolutely anything. You're not going to get any crazy cast system in it. You're not going to get any frills on the internals, but what you do get is you get a wired through construction on a lure that casts better than most on the market. This lure here casts a lot like a metal. I mean, have a look at it. Absolutely beautiful profile and a fantastic color, this one. Now, the Zipbaits, every single year, Mark Wilson from Zipbaits Australia works tirelessly on suggesting new lure colors and just better colors for Perth, WA conditions, or West Australia in general. Now, look, these are going to work all around Australia, of course. Let's not be silly. Now, these lures here, when I'm fishing them for tailor, I love a fairly steady retrieve on these, and these swim with just a straight wind. Some would say they're almost not a stick bait because you don't need to do anything to them. But keep in mind, you can get creative. You can drop them, you can lift them, you can twitch them, jerk them, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I've even had fantastic success with this little stick bait, holding the rod tip high and cranking it across the surface. But don't just take my word for the success. Check out some of these clips using Monsoon breakers.
Love the chase and
this one, doing the miles, betcha. Good hookups on tailor. We just got to get him over this reef out here. It feels like a, I don't know, a 17 fish. This is just down in that wash. Here comes a swell, utilise that, and up he comes. We'll walk up the beach. We'll get him in, there he is there. He's looking a bit ratty now, but look at that. Prime West Coast tailor, Zipbaits Monsoon Breaker. I mean, these lures here are absolutely dynamite. First light, northern spot, can't get much better. We'll get him back in the water. You get the pliers, he's absolutely crunched that. And we'll get on to another one, I reckon. Beauty! Yep, looking good again, up solid. He's on top of the reef now. Doesn't seem like a bad fish at all. Oh, it's just a little pup. Oh, fingers are so cold. Can't even grab leader. Look at that. Another beautiful little West Coast tailor. Well, get this treble out of him quickly. We'll let him go. There you go, mate. Oh! Bit of swell rocket there. I honestly can't believe the size of these herring are great, but not really what we're chasing. But I mean, look, have a look at the size of the lure opposed to the fish. They're just hungry. Oh, there he goes. Loop. So as you can see, there's no question that these zip baits here work and work really well. The best setup I've found to use for these is something around your PE 1.5 setup on a rod that casts up to about 40 grams. So you get a bit of whip in the tip, okay? They really do project these lures well. These lures don't tumble at all. They're just a very well behaved lure. Some, as I said, would even say they're cheating. But look, how about we check out exactly what is on the inside of these lures, and we'll chop it up on the bandsaw. Let's get to it. Right, so here we have the inside of the Monsoon breaker. As we can see, we've got all our 2 hook points and of course up there the toe point. But what's most interesting, as you can see, is we've got that beautiful wide through construction which goes the whole way through. So no matter how hard you pull on these fish, she ain't coming apart. You can also see the lead weight that runs the whole way across there, segmented there obviously where the center hook point is. And that is so that the wire through can obviously have its own little cavity. And then we pick up the lead here. We'll notice there's quite a big lead shot here towards the tail as well, which really what helps it cast. We've got a fairly big lead shot here as well, which is what balances the stick bait out, obviously helps it swim. As you can see though, the wall thickness on this stick bait is fairly substantial. That's why it is such a strong stick bait. But also with this reinforcing that encapsulates the wide through construction, that also adds a hell of a lot of strength. As you can see from this particular stick bait here, it's been absolutely hammered. So now we know what's on the inside, let's talk about the pros and cons of these lures. The pros for me is a fantastic colour range suited to West Australian conditions. They cast like an absolute bullet, and they will outfish most other lures, if not all other lures on the beach on their day. The cons, however, the hooks on them are usually upgrades straight away to singles. That's because these are what I'd call like a sea bass style lure. The hooks aren't designed on these to put huge amounts of pressure on them. But you know, just a quick single hook upgrade is all you need, or a nice set of BKKs on there. But keep in mind, for any high-end lure, you should be doing this anyway. The paint on these is notorious for coming off fairly easy. But on the flip side, I'll argue this all day long, that as these start wearing and wearing and wearing, they actually keep catching and catching and catching, and if not increase the catch rate. It's almost like the fish think it's a wound or something like that. Now let's also not take away that for a $40 lure, it is a wide through construction. So when you hook up on this lure, you have no problems at all setting that hook as hard as you like and reefing on it. Because I'm telling you, you're not pulling this wire out of these. They're that good and strong. But don't take my word for it, guys. I know it's an expensive lure at 40 bucks, but in my eyes, completely worth it. All right, guys, I hope you like this quick little review on the Monsoon Breaker by Zipbaits. Available at any good tackle store, and if they're not, go down and ask them. Just tell them, ring Mark from Zipbaits. He'll get them over there to you, I promise. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Catch you later.